welcome. Today's project is going to be a quick, simple project that sells very well at places like craft fairs, accessory shops, garden centres, etc. And it's the light pull. I've got a little piece here of oak Burr offcut. It's 3 1/4 inches long by 1 1/4 inches square. And I got to go through the process that I use to make these light pulls. And you could utilise any little bit of scrap that you've got in the workshop, which can't be a bad thing. And more importantly, you can turn it into cash. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to go through the process that I use. Obviously, if you're making, let's say, a dozen of them at one go, you would do each stage on each piece. So you're not chopping and changing, you drill the holes, then you would turn them all round, and then you would shape them, and then you would put your finish on, or finish them how you wish. So everything is done in stages, but this is just to give you an idea of one of the ways of turning these light pulls. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Okay, so we're starting off with this piece of oak Burr, and it's 3 1/4 inches long, as I said, by 1 1/4 inches square. I've marked the centres. The reason for that is I'll put this into my cylinder jaws like so. Doesn't need an awful lot of a grip, and then I will advance the tailstock live centre into the centre hole there, hold it in place, and then lock down the chuck. Now the reason we're doing this is I'm going to drill a stepped hole right through the blank, and then from then on it'll be a spindle turning. I'll be using a light pull drive. Okay, so that's got it as central as possible, and the reason for doing the hole, as I say, is everything will revolve around that centre line. So the next thing is to get my Jacob's chuck into the quill. So we just take out the live centre, put in the Jacob's chuck, and again, if you haven't got a Jacob's chuck, you can do this on the drill press, but you just have to be a little bit more accurate with regards to setting it all up nice and square. So put this into the Jacob's chuck. Now this drill, you will notice, has a step drill bit. This will go right through, and then the thicker piece at the end there will cause the recess for which you, when you've tied the knot in the end of your cord, that'll slip up nicely into there. You don't have to use a drill bit like this. You can use different size drill bits to do the operation. Okay, so not too much speed, because it is oak Burr, it's very hard, and about 800 RPM to start with, and then advance nice and carefully to start the hole, bearing in mind, as I say, the hole is going right through, and take off as you go. Pull out on a frequent basis to save burning, and especially with the Burr, the drill bit is going to follow the path of least resistance. So if you jam it in there with a lot of pressure, it's going to wander. Not that that really matters, because you're going to be centering it on those holes anyway to do your turning. We now have a hole right through, and this will be the base of the light pull, because that's where the larger stepped hole is. So I will now take the chuck out and put in the stem drive, the light pull drive, I should say, and then a live centre in the tailstock, and we can centre up the turning. So in goes the light pull drive and the live centre, and bearing in mind that this larger hole here, which is the base, will fit over the friction drive, the light pull drive, centre up there, lock everything down, lock off the tailstock, and now we have a friction drive for the light pull. Make sure everything is free, and the next operation is to round it down. So, respirator on. I'll be using the 1 1/4 inch spindle roughing gouge. Not overkill, it gets the job done. And I'll be turning 2,500 revs, 2,300. Nice light cuts, and let's get it down to round. I know we got the shape I'm looking for, and I just want to bring in the ends a bit more, just to make it a bit more aesthetically pleasing. That's it, and a little bit at the other end. Just light cuts. And just roll it over like so. Okay, so now we are ready to sand. Now normally I would sand up to 300 or 400 on a burr and then take it to the buffing wheels, because there would be a lot of fissures in there, and the true grit and the wax, Hampshire sheen wax, would get caught in those fissures. There's only a couple here at the very top, so I'm going to do the usual thing. Sanding sealer, sand up to 240, sanding sealer and true grit, and then Hampshire sheen high gloss. So I've sanded up to 240. I'm now going to apply Hampshire sheen pre-thinned sanding sealer, and this will really make the figure in this burr pop. Now if you were going to go to the buffing wheels, after you've applied the sanding sealer, you can denib it a little bit, and again, if you've got a lot of voids in it, I wouldn't suggest you use the white diamond, just the Tripoli and the Canuba wax. That's just my opinion. Okay, we'll let that soak in, and then apply Yorkshire grit, Hampshire sheen, and I'll come back when I'm buffing up the Hampshire sheen. So I've allowed 3 or 4 minutes for the Hampshire sheen to be ready to buff, so we're just going to buff it up now. No extreme pressure, and just light pressure, and finish off at one end so that you don't cause any streaks. And there we have it. And if you want to go the extra stage, you could put a bit of microcrystalline wax on there, wait about 20 minutes and then buff that up, and it gives it a little bit more resistance to fingerprints, etc. But a nice, quick, easy project. In these little voids here, if you just take a little toothbrush, if you get some wax in there, you can just take it out with the toothbrush and you won't have any residue there. And just release it from the drive, and you could just clean up the bottom bit there. Just give it a little hand sand and a bit of sanding sealer, and the same for the top. So a nice, quick and easy project that's great for gifts and also good for sunning in various venues. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Give you some idea of how to use your workshop scraps, and this Burr has a lovely figure on it, as you'd expect, and it's highlighted with the finish. Well, thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers now.